Keep your radio dial right here. You're locked into the hottest news station on the planet. Hot 702.5 in FM sound. Blazing today's hip hop, R&B, and pop music. Keeping your radio on fire. Bringing you the hottest, realest, riskiest talk shows live 24/7 on hot7025fm.com.
It's your main man 360 the Poet from the Morning Wood. And are you looking for the perfect drink? Well, you found it. Mimosa Royale is the perfect combination of California sparkling white wine and natural juice that is both tasty and refreshing. No artificial colors or flavors, no sugar added, and it's gluten-free. As the world's first ready-to-drink mimosa, Mimosa Royale is perfect for any occasion, day or night. You no longer have to drink 12 of those seltzers just to get that perfect buzz. At 8% alcohol, Mimosa Royale is the perfect drink to party with. Offered in a variety of flavors and sizes, you are bound to find a Mimosa Royale that you'll love. We have berry, mango, apple, and orange, with more flavors to come. Mimosa Royale is the most award-winning flavored wine that serves in bottles or cans. You can find them online at drinkmimosa.com or find them at your local liquor store. Ask for it by name. Mimosa Royale.
Hi. Hey.
What's up? All your favorite artists.
Check it out. Say my name.
DJ Khaled.
This is Mila J.
Bruno Mars.
On hot7025fm.com.
Hi. Hey.
What's up? All your favorite artists.
All right. Happy Wednesday, everybody. Happy Wednesday. Happy Christmas Eve, or Merry Christmas Eve. I'll say Happy Christmas Eve. Merry Christmas Eve. I'm happy to be back with y'all again on this wonderful Wednesday afternoon. I want to thank y'all and appreciate y'all for tuning in with me. You know, I appreciate it to the max. For sure there. First out, just like normal, like every other week, let me talk about the week, what's been going on, what's been happening. I know y'all see I finally got my little smile back right, doing what I can to try to get that taken care of. But it's been a productive week at home, too. We ended up getting family portraits done for not only just the holidays, but for pictures in general, just to have at the home. Last time we did family pictures, it was maybe about 2 years ago. And when we did it, Junior, my youngest, was actually not even here. So we had to go back and get another one to add him in. When you keep adding kids, what else can you do? Other than that, though, it's been a really, really, really good week. I've been really tired, but, that's nothing new, really. I've been really tired, exhausted. My sleep schedule was crazy this past weekend, leading into the beginning of the week. But all in all, I'm hopefully tonight we'll reset all of that. I'll go home tonight. I'll try not to pick up my phone for nobody. Try not to work at all tonight and get me some actual rest and sleep. I definitely need it because this weekend is going to be busy again. So I don't want to be exhausted and out of it. I actually want to be there and in person, actually involved and interacting with whatever I got going on this weekend. So I'm happy about that. I did a couple more weddings this past weekend, which was kind of nice, kind of cool. Those weddings always come in handy when I need a little quick cash. Crazy thing about it is they always pop up when I really need the money. So I'm kind of happy about that. But that's just probably, God looking out for me and my family. So I appreciate that for sure. My son tried out for soccer about a week and a half ago, but it looks like he did not make the team, which is it's not bad. It's just more so we have to understand why we didn't make the team and what happened with it. We had a conversation. We talked about it. I explained that you may have went out there and practiced well and you did great on the field. But just like the teachers told you at first, it's all about how you can listen and behave and understand what's going on in school while you're at school too. You want to make sure you can do what you got to do. And that showed him that, being a follower in school is not the way to go because he didn't get what he wanted, what he worked so hard for. And I had to explain to him again, hey, listen, you did a great job out there at practice to try to make that tryouts for making a team. I watched you. You did great. You did really good. But it's more to it than just being a good player. You have to also be able to listen, follow directions, so on and so forth. And again, he's only 9, so I don't expect him to remember all of this right away. But at least having that conversation early is something to help out with him. But are we upset? He took about a day or two for him to get through it, which I think at 9 years old, that's amazing. You only took a day or two to get over it. And his next thing was, okay, I just got to do better so that way when the next tryouts come, I don't have to worry about making a team. And I was like, good. That's what I like to hear. You do right in school, do right at home, you get whatever you need. Within reason, you get what you need and for the most part. But other than that, it hasn't been too much going on in the last week. Honestly, it was one of those nonchalant kind of weeks where things just kind of went by without you paying attention. outside of working, it wasn't too much else that was really going on. I think I spent most of my time, at least 90% of my time working last week, whether it was the morning job, the night job, the overnight job, or, just doing weddings or sermons. I get that taken care of. All in all, today, the week was great, but today I do want to bring up some things because we are at that time. Tomorrow's going to be Christmas, which means that I want to talk about the holidays. I want to talk about how some of you parents are at the moment. I think we all just need to realize and understand that we are not miracle workers. So some things that we cannot make happen, I think it's okay to be transparent about not being able to make that happen. If you still got your bills paid, you got a roof over you and your kid's head, I think that'll be enough if you can just be a little more transparent about what you're going through and what you're dealing with, of course, in a way that a child would understand. And I'll talk more about that here shortly. But I do want to start it off by telling you, if you are new here, welcome. Welcome. I appreciate you for joining in. But if you're a regular, you already know what we do. We talk about real life, real struggles, and a real healing, especially when it comes to men's mental health, parenting, and family. Today's topic is one a lot of people don't like to admit out loud. The holidays can be hard, man. They can be real tough for us. It can be a lot going on with the holidays when they come around, and we try to just do any and everything we can to make it through, but sometimes we kind of damage ourselves by doing so. For some people, this season is full of joy, laughter, happiness, good to go. But for others, this is when stress, depression, anxiety, and loneliness hits the hardest. I think you all know that already, that when the holidays come and you have no family, friends, or loved ones around, you end up in your own thoughts and your own mind, and we know how destructive that can be. We do. So today we're going to talk about the side of the holidays that doesn't get posted on social media, right? Why the holidays take a mental toll. So let's keep it real. The holidays don't pause life at all. You don't get to just take a break because of the holidays here. Bills don't stop. Work stress doesn't stop. Mental health struggles don't magically disappear because it's December. But now on top of everyday life, there's pressure to be happy. Pressure to spend money you may not have. Pressure to create memories when you're already exhausted. When I was younger, I think if my parents or my mom had a better way of explaining to me and being transparent with what was going on, I think I would have dealt with that pain different. I think I would have been worried about the right things instead of the wrong things at that time. But as a kid, when you feel like, parents aren't doing for you or can't do this, can't make it happen, you feel like that you're a bit of a failure in a way. You feel like maybe you didn't do something right, or you didn't get to the point you needed to get to in order to get what you wanted. But I also understand as an adult now, it was more to it than just, hey, Mom, I want this. Can you get it for me? Because Mom probably had to pay the light bill the same time I requested that new toy or a new thing, whatever it may have been. And then now in today's time, let's talk about today's time. Social media does not make it any better. It makes it worse. You got to sit there and watch everybody that looks like they're winning. They look like they're having a ball. They're having a fantastic time. They got everything they want. Everybody got gifts. Everybody got pictures. Everybody got this, new cars. And you're looking at that on social media like, damn, why am I not there? But in reality, it's more so like you just trying to survive. Don't let social media spark an influence that you can't create. Like you don't have to go all out and do all the bells and whistles if you can't afford to do so. If you're not within that space mentally, financially, in general, if you're not there to do it, then don't try. Just be honest about it and let it be known. Some things just may not be able to happen the way they normally do. I sat my kids down. And normally every year for Christmas, we let our kids make a list and we try to get at least 2 to 3 things off their list that they want. At least 2 to 3, right? The rest of it is kind of just up to us on what we choose to get them or what they may need at the time. This year, however, I was honest with my kids and told them, financially, we are in a bit of a bind. We're a little tight, which means that you may not get everything you want on your Christmas list, but I guarantee you'll get at least one thing. My kids said to me, they said, but Daddy, we got a bunch of presents already. You know what I mean? Like the fact that they were okay with what they already had, it made me feel great about the fact that they already are appreciative. I don't need to go above and beyond. I don't need to stress myself out when my kids are already happy with what they already have, right? That was great to me. It was a sense to say they are being, and I'm not saying my kids are the perfect kids and they're raised in a perfect environment. What I'm telling you is my kids are raised in an environment where we're honest and transparent with them. There are some things that kids don't need to know or don't need to be having conversations about. But within reason, there are some things that the kids, you actually do need to talk to them and conversate. You need to let them know what's going on. You need to be transparent with your little ones. But again, social media, it tears that apart. It tears that apart, especially, and no offense to the women, no offense to the ladies. But for men especially, there's this silent expectation to just handle it. Just take care of it. Provide, protect, and don't complain. And it's like, damn, that's all you see me as a provider and a protector? Like, you don't think I'm human too? You don't think I have feelings too? You don't think that I am going through something mentally within the holiday season? That's crazy to hear. That pressure alone will break you if you don't talk about it. Like, it will literally make you sit up there and fold under the pressure because you are shown and taught and raised to not talk about it as a man. It's a horrible feeling, man. It's a horrible feeling. So horrible. That pressure alone, man, I don't really have any words for it. I don't think there are any real words to say it when it comes to it. But honestly, I feel like a lot of men are out here trying their hardest and not getting enough credit, right? Shout out to y'all for that. Because I see y'all. Whether or not you believe it, I see y'all. My wife, we had the conversation and she was like, but you make it look all so easy. You make it look so easy, so easy. And I'm all like, I can't agree with that. I make it look easy. Hey, I can't tell you what you see. But behind closed doors, it's tough. It's hard. I got to make sure not only that bills are paid, I got to make sure that you as my wife have what you need. The kids have what they need. And then I have to sit up there and make sacrifices for myself to make sure y'all have what y'all need. And I just told her, like, it's tough on me, man. Like, I wake up every day and yeah, I have no problem. I would never complain about taking care of my family. I would never complain. I think that's what I'm supposed to do. My pride feeds off the fact that I am there to take care of my family. I love it. I don't have any issues or whatever doing so because I feel like, again, as a man, that's what I'm supposed to do. Hey, it is what it is. If you want to complain about that, then maybe you shouldn't be a provider or a protector in the first place because you're not ready to fill those roles. But that does not mean that it's not a heavy or a tough battle for you. I get it. I understand. But if we don't take the time out to work on it ourselves or to take those steps and precautions that we need to make it a little easier for us, can we really blame everybody else or do we just keep blaming ourselves? Accountability starts with you. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not telling y'all that, you as a man, you ain't shit and you ain't got nothing going on. What I'm saying is some things we bring upon ourselves. Some things we do ourselves because we don't want to speak up or, stand up. It's like, I'm going to just let it ride. And then you got 3 months down the road where you realize there's too much pressure for you and you get ready to fold again, But hey, it is what it is. I just feel like there are certain steps we can all take to make sure we get through certain things like this, to make sure we get through certain times of our life that will make us feel like we're frozen or we're not moving forward or we're stagnant and comfortable, because we all know that every day we try to grow and be a better person. But it depends on how you look at life. You look at it being negative, like you ain't going nowhere. Hey, you may not go nowhere. But if you look at it as, hey, I'm taking at least 1 foot. I'm putting at least 1 foot in front of me every single day to move forward. You'll see where that gets you. Positivity goes a long way, man. You don't have to focus on the negative all the time. That negative is there to keep you in the same place. So try to do without it. We know bad shit gonna happen. Why do you want to bring it to the light? Let it go. It is what it is. Worry about what you can do right, what you're doing on the right path, the right movement, the right motion. Worry about that. You know what I mean? Worry about that. But parents, holiday stress and transparency. I just want to talk to the parents for a minute. I just want to talk to the parents for a second. That's it. The holidays are stressful as hell when you got kids. I just told y'all what I was going through with it. I'm sure some of y'all are going through it too, if not worse than what I was going through. You know what I mean? I'll never knock anybody's struggle. Never. But you're trying to make magic with money that's already spoken for. You know what I mean? That money was already going towards the light bill and the gas bill and the rent and the car note and the car insurance. Like, that money was already going there, but you got to try to find magic and make it work. Like, you're trying to stretch yourself thin and still smile. You're like, oh yeah, I lost my hair, but it's all good. No, 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 no. We cannot, first of all, money doesn't grow on trees. So if something is already spoken for, we're going to let it keep going there, because why do we want to end the year off struggling, trying to survive to make it to the next year, when all we had to do is be like, you know what? This is what we can do this year. And this is what we can't do. Simple as that. We can do this. We can't do that. I get it. We want to be the magicians and make everything magical happen. We want to be the savior for the children, for whatever it may be, for holidays. But what we want and what we need are two different things. What we need to do is be transparent. What we need to do is understand that we cannot make everything happen if we're not in a position to do so. What we need to do is be honest with these kids and let them know what reality looks like, so when they get older, they're not entitled. That's what we need to do. You trying to stretch yourself thin and still smile. But what I want parents to hear this, I want parents to hear this clearly, loud and clearly. What I want. You are not failing because you can't do everything. You're not. You show me one person on this planet, one person that can do every single thing in the world with no issues, no hiccups, no nothing. I guarantee you can't show me that one person. That is exactly what I mean by that. You are not a failure because you can't make everything happen. You are okay with making happen what you can and dealing with it from there. But trying to force things that are just out of scope for you, nah. You got to let that go. You got to let that go for sure, for sure. First of all, I'm not a magician. My dad was. He had a great disappearing act. The only thing I know about him is his name was Willie. Willie come back? I don't know. Now, let me stop being serious, though. Please stop thinking that you're a failure because you couldn't knock every single thing off the list. If you were able to do at least one of those things, or at least put the effort in to try to do one of those things, you succeeded. It's okay. You don't have to be perfect. You're not going to get it right all the time, but you have to stop making yourself stress over something you cannot fix. It's heartbreaking to yourself and your children. Transparency with kids. Like, one thing we don't talk about enough is being honest with our kids. You know what I mean? A lot of us were raised believing kids shouldn't know anything. You just figure it out. Call it a day and figure it out. But sometimes that silence creates trauma. And nobody want to talk about that, huh? Y'all don't want to talk about the trauma it create? I'll talk about it because guess what I came from? A lifestyle that created trauma from that. Exactly. Kids will fill in the blanks on their own. And most of the time they blame themselves. Growing up, like I said earlier, when I didn't get something for Christmas or a birthday, I didn't have good Christmases or birthdays. So when that came about and I didn't get it, I thought I was to blame. I did something wrong. It was my fault. That's what I said. It was my fault. And as an adult, I look at it as it wasn't even my fault at all. It was just circumstances. Just the circumstances. So I wish that we can learn to be a little more transparent with our children. So that way, when they get older, they can kind of put those pieces together, but not in the way of blaming themselves, because it's not the child's fault, not the parent's fault either. It's all about communication and transparency. It's all what it's all about. Being transparent doesn't mean dumping adult problems on kids. I hate that y'all think that. It means saying we may not be able to do everything this year, but you are loved and you are safe. That teaches reality, not disappointment. It lets them understand what happens in real life, what's going on, not what you want them to think or feel. It's not worth it. I'm telling you, being transparent is better than lying to your kids, because if you lie so much, they start remembering those lies you told them. So when they asking you about it again, you're like, huh? What? Because you had to lie about something. You could have just been honest about it, you know? And I want to make this personal for a moment. I don't want you to think I'm just out here talking because I feel like it ain't nothing to it. I want to make this really personal and talk about it. I didn't grow up having those great, fantastic Christmases where I opened presents or see presents for Christmas morning. I didn't have birthday parties, so when my birthday came around, I didn't worry about inviting friends and family over. Like, that wasn't my lifestyle as a kid. As a kid, when nobody explains why things don't happen, you start to internalize that. you start to feel like that there are things that you have done, or for me, for example, I thought it was because of my dad and who he was and how nobody liked him. So since they didn't like my dad and they didn't care too much for him, they treated me like shit. They didn't care about me. They didn't do for me. They didn't do nothing. And I internalized that my entire life, thinking I was the problem to a situation I didn't create. I always felt like no matter what the situation was, I would just do anything to make my family love me. I just wanted them to appreciate or just care about me. Just show me that they actually love me. I've said this plenty of times before. If you're new here, I'll say it again. My mother did the best she can with 3 boys growing up. It's not her I talk about when I say that, because she did amazing. She did the best she can, the most she can, and I appreciate every little thing she did for me. What I mean by that is everybody else in my family outside of my mother, they treated me like a doormat, man. Like I was just trash, like used trash, yesterday's paper, Nobody showed me attention enough to where they would help me learn and grow. A lot of the things I know in life, it was from me learning from YouTube or figuring it out on my own. Unfortunately, it's heartbreaking to even think about that and say that, man, because I was innocent as a kid and they should have never took that shit out on me because I didn't do anything to nobody. I was innocent, I was innocent. And looking back on the fact that they treated me like yesterday's paper and old news and didn't give me the care I deserved, the attention I deserved, the growth I needed to learn to be a better individual. I had to do that all on my own, and it's created so much trauma for me. It's created so many issues in my household for me. I'm stuck in the survival mode. From being raised in an environment where I just had to always figure it out. Like nobody explained why something happened. Nobody said this, nobody said that. All I kept hearing was the fact that nobody liked my dad. Nobody cared for him. Nobody liked who he was. He was a menace. He was a danger to society, whatever you want to call it. But that's all I heard. So when you hear that about your dad, you're like, that's why y'all don't like me, because of who my dad is. I barely know the man. Y'all know more than I do, but I got to suffer the consequences for him. So, growing up as a kid, it just, all of that not happening, it made me internalize it even more. And I grew up just blaming myself for everything that went wrong in my life. When in reality, I was just trying to figure it out, man. I was just trying to figure it out. I hate that for myself, but I also love it for myself because now I'm in a position where I'm a father, I'm a husband, I'm a family man, and all of those bad traits and the way people made me feel, man, I would never bring that into my home. I would never bring that into my household. I am so happy that I'm able to figure out what it was that bothered me growing up, from a kid to a teenager to a young adult to an adult. I'm happy that I can finally decompartmentalize all of those issues that I've had, all of those things going on. Again, it wasn't easy for me. I didn't have the best life where I felt like everybody was there for me. I had the life where I had the Cinderella life, believe it or not. I had the Cinderella life. I got the hand-me-downs. I got the this and that. I was treated like trash. I got the Cinderella story. Man, I'm going to go home and do some heavy praying tonight. Talk to my therapist because this is crazy now that I think about it. But in that kind of lifestyle, man, I started thinking about it as a kid that maybe I'm not worth it. Maybe I'm just not meant to be here with everybody and I'm not worth all of this trouble and all of these problems. Maybe I'm just not meant to be in these people's lives. And as an adult, again, I understand that my mother was doing the best she could. But I also know if there had been just a little more transparency, just a little bit more, I may have processed that pain differently. I probably would have. I probably would have went about it a completely different way if there was some transparency involved in that. That's why I believe so strongly in breaking cycles, because I've seen all of the cycles that have deterred me from being the man I am today or prolonged me from being the man I am today. And I want to break those cycles so that my children are those kind of individuals at an early age, if not teenagers, young adults, so they already have that mentality instilled in them. Nothing but love and support. I want to be there for them to show them that, that some of these generational curses and cycles, they have to be broken. I want my kids to see and understand and know that regardless of what I had going on in life, I always put them first, whether it was their mental, their physical, or just in general, just, hey, what's going on for today? You know, I want them to understand and know that my parents would make sure I could reach for the stars and some. I want them to know that when we couldn't make it happen, they knew ahead of time, not the day of. Like, I want my kids to really fully understand what transparency is and how we can be honest with them about certain things. And I'll be honest with you, Diamond was not happy about it at first, but that's where communication comes into play. Because when I broke it down and we talked about it and we had a better understanding, we're both all for it now. That's where communication comes into play. So again, there are certain conversations you're not going to be able to have with your kids at all, because it's just not a conversation for them to be involved in. But there are a lot of conversations that we can be more transparent with the kids about that we choose not to do. And that's where a lot of these problems come from, because we have these kids growing up being entitled, all because us as parents, we couldn't do the right thing and hold them accountable just like we hold ourselves accountable. Our kids don't need perfection. They need honesty, presence, and love. That's all they need. From there, they will grow up to be great individuals. You may still have to worry, but not as much. But a lot of the times, I just want y'all to see that transparency is going to help you. It's really going to help. And the biggest part of that is, the biggest reason I talk about transparency is because I do want to talk about wants versus needs. Like, I think it clears some things up. Let's clear some things up. Let's clear something up really quick. We are not always going to give our kids anything they want. We're not. Y'all have all been there before where your kid asks you for ice cream at 11 o'clock at night on a school night and you like, you should be in bed right now. No, go to sleep. You know, just to give a minor example. You're not always going to give kids everything they want, but we fight every single day to give them what they need. We do. We try to give them what they need and not what they want. Kids are going to want a lot of things, but what they need is where we come into play. Hey, let me help you out and show you why you need this, why you need that. They need food. They need shelter. They need guidance. They need love. They need consistency. They need all of that. What you think they're going to do without food? They're going to starve to death. What you think they're going to do if they don't have shelter? They're going to have something happen to them out in the cold or the heat, whatever it may be, because they don't have shelter. Guidance. If they don't have guidance, they're going to go down the wrong path and end up in a body bag or in jail. What? Love. If they don't have love, they're going to grow up being aggressive. They want to fight and be mean and argumentative all the time or combative because they didn't grow up with love. They don't know what that looks like. They're going to be insecure when they don't have love. They're going to doubt themselves so much because they feel like they were not loved enough as a child. They thrive off of these things. They need it. Consistency. Do I really have to explain that one? Do I really have to explain it? Kids really need you to be there day in and day out. There are no breaks to being a parent. There aren't. Y'all say, well, they go to grandma's for a while. Yeah, but if grandma called you an hour later because something wrong, you need to get up and get your ass over there and take care of them kids. Go help grandma out because she didn't raise you already. You're an adult. So you don't get to stop and get a break from being a parent. Hey, if you got a babysitter and you pay the babysitter or I think my breaks is while they at school. Yeah, I go to work, but still. The kids I ain't got to worry about nothing because they're in the hands of the teacher. I'm good. I ain't got to call into the house every hour. Hey, y'all good? Y'all need anything? I ain't got to do that. They at school. They good. That's my break. You know what I mean? That's my break. What y'all don't realize about kids is, or some of y'all do, some of y'all don't, but what you got to really understand, kids remember how you made them feel, not how much money you spent. I can tell you right now, right here, about any person that is in my life that has done anything to me where it was to the point where they made me feel some type of way. I can tell you when they made me feel that type of way, why they made me feel that type of way, and if they even apologize for making me feel that type of way. I can. That's why it's so easy to acknowledge and appreciate everything my mother has done, because I respect it. Like, I cannot begin to stress enough how much I watch this woman get up and go to work every day to take care of 3 kids, 3 boys at that. Make sure we have food in the house. Make sure she come home from work and cook us dinner. Make sure if we were sick, we had medicine or take us to the doctors. Getting on the bus to take us to and from appointments. I can't begin to tell you how much my mother went through and did just to make sure we had a decent life. A decent, not a great one, just a decent one. A decent life. I watched my mama do that for the first 10 years of my life, man. 9-10 years of my life, I watched her do that. She got married and got some help. It started to become easier, but then even that didn't last. You know, she had to go back to square one and did it again. But did she complain? No. She got back on her high horse. She got back up on it with that saddle, grabbed her kids, and did her motherfucking thing. I'm just being honest with y'all, man. I watched my mother be superwoman so long. I'm not going to complain about the things she couldn't do for me. And now realize I said that she couldn't do. Not things that she chose not to do. She just couldn't do it. It wasn't in her scope. It wasn't in her reach at the time. And that's okay. That's where transparency comes in at. I swear if she'd have been a little more transparent, that wouldn't have been nothing I was worried about. That would have been nothing I was worried about at all. Now I want to talk to the people who may be spending the holidays alone. I'm going to make this a little more personal again, too. I lost my brother. You know, I lost him 13 years ago. And if you know me and you know my life and my family, my brother was like my best friend. He was like my road dog, my best friend, my right-hand man. And when he left, nothing was the same anymore. I didn't care to celebrate holidays. It's funny. He left August 12th, 2012. His birthday was September 3rd. I barely was able to celebrate that, you know, just missing him. And then Thanksgiving came around. From 1992 to 2011, Thanksgiving was my favorite holiday. You would catch me on any given Thanksgiving day going around to about 10 different houses to get a plate so I'd have lunch for the weekend. That's how it was for me. 2012 came around and I lost my brother. No holiday felt the same. I didn't want to celebrate Thanksgiving. That's for family. My family just left. I didn't want to celebrate Christmas. It's a family holiday. My brother just left. I didn't want to celebrate New Year's because it was the first New Year I had to celebrate without my brother being by my side. I didn't want to do anything in the holiday spirit. Do you know what I did when my brother died? I put myself under fire about working. I had 4 to 5 jobs that were all part-time, but I never had a day off, and I lived out in Prim. I didn't really live there, but that's where I was working from. I would be out there day in, day out, night in, day out. I was working. I would go home once or twice a week, change clothes. I would shower out there. They had little bathrooms and stuff to use, so I would shower and bathe out there, pack up a bag for the few days because I know I'd be working. And I worked day in and day out for like the first 2 years, man. I didn't want to think about nothing, holidays, nothing, because it all got to me. It all made me feel like I was alone for the holidays. Yeah, I still have my mom and them, but just remember I was with my brother day in and day out for so long, where when he left, you know, a huge part of me left. And I still haven't gotten over that. I still haven't gotten over that part of me that died when my brother did. Am I really sad about that? Not really, like I was at first, but he wouldn't want that. You know, my brother wouldn't want me to be feeling like that all the time. So I had to find a way to get through it and get over it and appreciate what I did have with him, which were the memories that we shared, the good times we had, the good laughs, the enjoyment of the holidays, or just in general with my brother. And then I had kids and I realized, man, I can't keep running away from the holidays because that's not fair to my children. That's not fair to them at all. But prior to that, about a year before I had kids, I was trying to do my best to just shake it. Get out of this feeling of like not wanting to celebrate the holidays. And for a while it was working, you know. And then Christmas came and we were at my mother's house all doing matching pajamas. And I was just all like, my brother not here. And it got me again. You know, it got me again. So I only want to talk to y'all because when you spend the holidays alone, I know how crazy it can be on the mind, how horrible it can be on the brain when you're trying to sit up there and mentally deal with the fact that you don't have anybody for the holidays, whether your family's not here or they passed away, whatever the case may be. I kind of understand what that looks like. You know, I kind of understand what that looks like. Some of you don't have family to celebrate with because of loss, right? They may be gone. They may have left this world, you know, but to be absent from the body is to be present with the Lord. I love that Corinthians verse. I use it so much. Some because relationships were unhealthy, meaning that you may have chosen to not be around family because it's not a healthy relationship. There's probably always fighting and arguing going on, or it's toxicness, or maybe they're always drinking or they're always doing drugs. It could be anything that makes you want to be able to say, hey, you know what? For my family, I got to stay away from them now because this is not something that I chose or wanted to really do. I can't really be around this anymore. And the holidays shine the spotlight on that loneliness, you know? It's like you thought you were center stage and you got the spotlight there, but it's for the wrong reasons. So it sucks. But one thing it is not is weak. You're not weak for feeling this way. You're not vulnerable. I wouldn't say the word vulnerable in a way, but you're not weak for feeling this way. You're not, a horrible person because you feel like that. Being alone does not mean you don't matter at all. That is not what that means. You need to just reach out. Create your own tradition, volunteer or just allow yourself to feel without judging it. Because, we always good at judging each other and judging ourselves. So I would say you let yourself feel without judging what you got going on. You know what I mean? I say that because reach out. Let me dig a little deeper into these. Reach out. What I mean by that is we all have some kind of friends or family that we can reach out to, talk to, communicate with, conversate with. We all have that. If you feel like you don't got it, then create it. Create it. Create your own little circle of friends and family acquaintances where you can create or have those holidays and spend them together. Create your very own tradition. Do you know right now, every year, our tradition, well, we had a couple of them, but for Christmas, our tradition is that we will take I know y'all seen the little boxes or the little things where 24 days of Christmas, a piece of chocolate inside each day. We do that every year. You know what I mean? We're going to go ahead, everybody gets a box. Every day we go ahead and we eat the chocolate together. We wait till everybody's home and we have that little tradition with each other. Or the fact is, what I do with my children is, every year we create a tradition for Christmas Eve. They either can open up one present at midnight for Christmas and wait till the next day to open the rest. Or they can choose which present they get to open for each other. We create our own tradition with that to make it happen and make it work. One thing I used to do is when I didn't want to, again, try outside of work if I couldn't work because we were closed. When holidays came by, man, I know it's going to sound cliche or sound crazy to say, but go volunteer. I want to help with toy drives. I help feed the homeless, shelters, stuff like that. Whatever you can do, try to be productive. Try to get out of your head, out of your mind space. Because I guarantee you, if you can actually get out of your head and you can actually sit there and try to find something productive to do, I guarantee you, the holidays will not be as bad as they have been for you the previous years. They will actually start making you feel like, hey, I'm doing something helpful. I'm doing something supportive. Honestly, for me, low key, it was a little therapeutic to be able to come out and say, hey, you know what? I'm going to do this to help out because I feel like this. And then I go home at night and be like, oh, man, that felt great. That felt really good. I did not think that I would be here in this situation, being able to get this done the way I am. So that feels great to be able to help people out, take care of things, and worry about the fact that, or not worry about the fact that I'm alone for the holidays, Again, I've been in that position. So to me, yes, it has been, oh man, it has been a roller coaster because when I grew up, it went to the point of me having my own kids, and now I'm trying to be the best parent I can without even knowing what the blueprint looks like. So I'm doing my best to be a parent. I'm trying to make things happen. I'm trying to take care of business. Then on top of that, I had to do it while I was co-parenting, and making sure that I didn't cross those lines or boundaries. Then I went from doing it on my own as a parent to co-parenting to a family man. And then I had to relearn everything all over again because all of those things I learned being alone, isolating myself, not being around nobody else, all of those things that I learned, I had to unlearn them. Unfortunately, I had to unlearn it all because it was unhealthy for a family. It wasn't about just me no more. I had to worry about and make sure that any decision I make did not affect my children, did not affect my wife, did not affect our lifestyle. I had to make sure that the decisions I made were on par with the family, because otherwise I would create such a setback that I wouldn't even really I wouldn't really know where to begin to fix it. I wouldn't really know where to begin to fix it. I feel like I would just create a toxic pattern, toxic habit, and we just deal with that for the rest of our lives. No. I don't think that was the right way to go about it. So being alone for these holidays is more so of like, I don't want to sound heartless when I say this, but I feel like you choose to do so. I feel like some people choose to be alone for the holidays because they feel like it's better than making new connections. How do I explain this? For example, when I got my first heartbreak as a kid, I never wanted to fall in love again. I was like, no, it's not for me. It hurt too much. It's not for me. And then I had to realize, oh, well, damn, heartbreak is something you may go through more than once, but you got to adapt and learn how to deal with it, learn how to fight through it and work through it, learn how to heal and get over it. You have different perspectives to come to that. Some people look at it one way, some look at it another. I look at it as a challenge. I had that first heartbreak, but even with that first heartbreak, it was like, damn, I don't want to do this again. But on the flip side to that, the best part is like, okay, well, when you are in love, like it's a great feeling. You know what I mean? It's a nice feeling. It's great. So I had to kind of get myself out of that mental state of I ain't doing this ever again because it didn't work out the first time. Into, you know what, that first time may have not have worked out, but what did Leah say? If at first you don't succeed, just dust yourself off and try again. And that's what I did. I just dust myself off and I tried again. The biggest thing I want you guys to understand from this is I know that there are times to be lonely in the holidays. But if you do not do what you need to do by reaching out to people or some kind of person you have in your corner to try to make this different for you and try to make it out of it this time around, you're not doing yourself the full justice you can, my friend. You are at that point just prolonging the inevitable. In a way, you're prolonging the inevitable. And again, I personally, I don't believe in prolonging something that is going to benefit or assist and help, right? I feel like if you have to prolong it because you don't want to do it, you're just creating a distraction. And just like any other distraction in the world, we know what's going to happen at the end of it, right? Reality sets back in. We back where we started. We back at square one. And what you're going to do? Create another distraction? We all have this way of creating distractions instead of dealing with reality. And they get upset at reality because it's been trying to show us the whole time what it looks like. Ain't that crazy? I think it's crazy. So again, I just want to remind y'all, man, like I know that a lot of this stuff is not easy as it is being said. I know a lot of this stuff takes a lot of hard work and a lot of commitment, a lot of effort. I know that. I'm not telling you that it's going to be easy. I'm telling you from personal experience that if you put the work in, if you put the grind in and you try to get to where you need to be, you will get there. You will. But if you want to sit there and stay stagnant, you want your music producer all in your videos. No, I'm just playing. If you're trying to stay stagnant, you're not trying to grow. You stand in this comfortable zone where you ain't got to worry about the outside world because your comfortability zone is where it is. Step out for a second. Get some fresh air. See what that does for you. I kid you not. You might do a lot better than you think you will. Honestly, I used to love the comfort zone. It was like my second home. The comfort zone, grow for what? Do something different? Why? What would I need to for? And then I did realize that unfortunately, that comfort zone does hold you back. That comfort zone does stunt your growth. So you can stay there all you want. You can be there as you please. But when you've come to face it and realize, why am I in the same place I was in 2 years ago, 2 months ago, 10 years ago, realize that you didn't take that one step forward to get out of your comfort zone to be so. I don't think there's anybody successful that has not at least took a leap of faith 10 to 100 times just to make sure it was going to see if it was going to work. We don't know what we don't know. So yes, growth is going to be uncomfortable. That's okay. But uncomfortability means you are growing, and that's all right. That's what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to be there. But if you got every holiday season and you feel like I'm going to just be by myself, let's do something different this year. Just invite one friend over, I don't know, an acquaintance, somebody, anybody, and try to spend time with them instead. These holidays are not doing justice for some people, and And we all are going through it in general in life anyway throughout the year. So the holidays just kind of amplify that by 100, and it don't help. It don't help. Personally speaking, I've been there. And it wasn't easy to get out of it. It wasn't just a walk in the park. It wasn't a cakewalk. It was not taking candy from a baby. It was consistency and effort. It was day in, day out, hard work and consistency to make it happen. Otherwise, I was just sitting there looking at myself like, hey, all right, well, you ain't doing nothing again today. Go back to sleep. You know, it ain't fair. It wasn't fair to me. It wasn't fair to my friends. It wasn't fair to my family. And all in all, you know, it just, I had to do better. I had to do better. But before we close out, I want to make sure we're not just talking, but actually helping, right? If this conversation stirred something up for you, or the holidays are weighing heavy, here are some resources right here in Las Vegas, right here in town at home, that you can use. We have our crisis support line, which is the 988 Suicide and Crisis Lifeline. You can actually call or text them, guess what? 24/7. 24/7. You don't have to be suicidal to reach out. Sometimes you just need someone to talk to. Maybe you just need an ear to listen. You know, that's what you can do. That's what you can be for. That's where you can go for it. We also have the Nevada Crisis Support Services. That is 1-800-458-5121. If you want to call, 1-800-458-5121. Or you can text them. You can text the word CARE, C-A-R-E, to 839-863. Again, that is text the word CARE to 839-863 for the Nevada Crisis Support Services. Low-cost mental health care, low cost, right? We all can use some help. We have the Southern Nevada Adult Mental Health Services, and you can reach them, again, at Southern Nevada Adult Mental Health Services. Their telephone number is 702-486-6000. So 702-486-6000. You got the NAMI Southern Nevada, which is 702-890-9729. Again, 702-890-9729. We also have the UNLV the practice clinic. This one was a new one for me that I found out about, so I'm really excited to go out there and actually see the support and services they give. But you can reach them at 702-895-1532. Again, 702-895-1532. Now for the families, I didn't forget about y'all as well. We do have the Family and Financial Stress Help, which is Help Hope Home, United Way of Southern Nevada. You can actually reach them at 211. So if you ever picked up the phone and called 211, that's what you want to do. That's how you get that taken care of. That is the Family and Financial Stress Help for Help Hope and Home, United Way of Southern Nevada. If the stress is financial, food related, or housing, please dial 211. They'll connect you to real help, real assistance. That way you're not figuring out who's going to help you, when are they going to help you. Any of those resources you need, I've always got them saved, locked and loaded, ready to go. You need a number, I got you. I'll shoot it out to you. But those resources are there for help. So if you need it, use it. Please use it. It's not gonna harm you or hurt you to get more valuable resources that will help you out in your time of need, whatever that may be. You know, please do so. Please, please, please. I highly, highly recommend it. If nobody told you today, I just want to reassure all of you parents, regular individuals just out there living life for this holiday season. I want to tell y'all something right now, and please take it into take heed of my word. You are doing the best you can. The best you can. Don't let nobody tell you different. Parents, your effort, it matters thick and through, all the way out. Men, your feelings matter, all the way out. And everyone listening, you matter. Somebody cares. We all care. If you don't think nobody care, I do. I'll tell you right now, I do. I care. The holidays don't have to be perfect to be meaningful at all. Give yourself grace. I have a close friend that tells me all the time to give myself grace. And I appreciate her for that, because I don't do it as often as I can, or other people in my life to give them grace. And I'm happy to hear that word of advice come in and day out if it got to, because it's appreciated. It's highly appreciated. But remember to give yourself grace. This has been Talk is Cheap on Hot 702.5 FM. Just please take care of your mental because it takes care of you. But again, I appreciate y'all for coming out and listening to me again on this wonderful Wednesday. Merry Christmas Eve. Merry Christmas to you all. I'll see you again next week on the hottest radio station on the planet, Hot 702.5 FM. Peace, love, and hair grease. I'll catch y'all next week.
Keep your radio dial right here. You're locked into the hottest news station on the planet, Hot 702.5 in FM sound. Blazing today's hip hop, R&B, and pop music. Keeping your radio on fire. Bringing you the hottest, realest, riskiest talk shows live 24/7 on Hot 702.5FM.com.